Hey guys, Blade Master here, and you are watching the Wolf of Remus Total War YouTube channel. And at long last, we are bringing you the first episode of You the Real MVP. The reason why it's taken so much time is mostly because I'm a jackass, and we ran into a bunch of technical difficulties, mostly on my part. Um, but yeah, I tried to get. Me and Reptilicus commentated twice on the replay. The first time it just didn't work properly. The second time, apparently, for some reason, his voice just wasn't coming like clear enough. So, anyways, I'm just gonna do this by myself. It's a pretty informative episode, and it should be great fun to watch. Anyways, the real MVPs for this episode are the Javelin Cavalry, and he's taken Gedai, so these are the mercenary Thracian cavalry. But before I talk about his build, let me just go over my build really quickly. I've got 3 Libyan Peltas, and behind them are 2 late Libyan Hoplites. I've got 3 Libyan infantry, and finally 1 mercenary Samnite warrior. For my cavalry, I have 1 Carthaginian, 1 mercenary companion, and 1 Iberian cavalry, backed up by a late Libyan hoplite on either flank, and I've got an African war elephant general. Now, for his build, we have 3 noble swords and 3 heavy spears behind them. One of them has a single chevron experience upgrade. So clearly he hasn't gone very infantry heavy. He has only 3 swordsmen to my 4, but these 3 are very strong swordsmen. He has gone cav heavy. He's got 2 noble horsemen and 1 spear horseman on his left flank, and he's got 1 noble horseman and 2 spear horsemen on his right flank. And finally, he's got 2 mercenary Thracian cavalry. Let's fast forward the initial bit. Shouldn't take much time. Um, but yeah, I mean, as you can see, I've clearly got a numbers advantage. My army is a lot more dense in that it's got a lot more numbers, and I've got an elephant. So before the match actually starts, it looks like I have a pretty clear advantage. At least in numbers, I have a big advantage. But I have Iberian cavalry over here who won't be able to stand up to any sort of cav charge. So I retreat them immediately, and I retreat my precious companion cavalry. These late Libyan hoplites get charged by spear horsemen, and the same thing goes over here. He does manage to get one of his noble horsemen into my peltas, but my late Libyan hoplites catch them. And this is the reason why we have this episode. You can see these 2 Thracian horsemen are firing fire volleys, and right now is when my African war elephants get out of control. So you can see it took literally less than 2 seconds for them to completely run amok. And the reason is because, first of all, javelins have their base damage is much higher, and second, they have an added bonus versus elephants. So what that leads to is that one or maximum one volley, 1.5 volleys, would lead to elephants running amok. So clearly, they are by far the best choice to counter elephants, and this is not what popular opinion guides us to believe, because everyone takes bow horsemen. When you see someone take Bactria, then you know they're taking Indian armored elephants, so then you immediately take bow horsemen. But that's not really the case, because bow horsemen, they take a while before elephants can run amok. Yes, they are more versatile, but for if you want a hard counter to elephants, then you don't need to look any further than javelin cavalry. So as you can see, after them running amok, he quickly changes his shot to regular shot, and then they put down the elephants incredibly quickly. Those guys basically won him the match, because as I said earlier, they wouldn't have he wouldn't have won the match if it wasn't for his javelin cavalry making my elephants run amok immediately. So I've got 1 elephant left, and he's out of control, and he's just away from the battlefield. The rest of my infantry didn't stand up to his, partly because they were rampaged by their own elephants. So my infantry couldn't stand up to his infantry because they're better in quality, and my numbers advantage quickly diminished when my elephants made my own men rout. My Iberian cavalry didn't stand a chance against his cavalry. He doesn't have much cavalry left, but I neither do I. I have one almost full strength companion, but they're not going to do too much damage. He does have heavy spears with him, and I've got one late Libyan hoplite who apparently did pretty well. I think he caught his general and killed him. But not that it matters too much. This game is almost wrapped up. I get a rear charge on his two remaining noble swords. Well, three remaining noble swords. So I get rear charge on two of them. But they're fighting one of my Sam Knight warriors, and even though these guys are legitimate tanks, they still can't stand up to incredibly powerful sword infantry like noble swords. Well, now it's basically GG time. He gangs up on my last remaining units. This was actually, even though the numbers kind of deceive us, it was actually a pretty decisive victory for him. As soon as he ran my Elephant Samak, the game was not even in my hands. So yeah, that's and the reason how he could do that was through his javelin cavalry, and another reason why I would say they would be very good picks against an elephant faction is that no one really expects you to bring them, and when you do bring them, it will automatically lead people to underestimate you and your build, and that's always a great surprise to have with you. Like I take Lusitani and or RDI, and I win many of them, surprisingly many of them, because it just boils down to the fact that people underestimate you and your build when you take RDI or Lusitani or some other weak faction like that. Anyways, guys, hope you found this informative, and hope I was a good commentator. Be sure to comment, subscribe, and like this video. And if you have any suggestions for other units that we could use as an MVP, then please feel free to let us know. Anyways, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.